Welcome back, guys, to the Spurgeon Piper. This is Wilson with you. So, should you rub out your tobacco flakes or keep it whole? This is a comment or a question, I should say, that comes up a lot in the pipe tobacco world. I've received comments on YouTube videos or my YouTube videos, especially on reviews or even emails on this matter. And so I thought, hey, I'll go ahead and cover it. And it came up most for a recent comment made by another pipe smoker. So I'm going to get into that. But before I do, what am I smoking today? I'm smoking out of my Peterson B10 Aran. I'm smoking a newer blend for me that I heard so much about, and that is Exhausted Rooster by Cornell and Dill. I opened this tin last week, and so I've been smoking it quite often recently. I'll save my thoughts on it for upcoming review. So a little bit of a teaser there. So I had a video, what's been a few weeks now, a review on Aaron Moore Flake, and P&W Piper. He made a comment that of the benefits he found and the joy he found in keeping his Stonehenge Flake whole and how the flavor popped. So that got me thinking, and I went back and started trying keeping my Stonehenge flake whole again. I haven't done that in a while. I've usually, as I've commented before, I usually rub out my flakes when I smoke them. So I took a Stonehenge flake and I left it whole and I smoked it. I was like, wow, I should have I should have done this for a while now, and I found reasons to keep my flake whole. So should you keep your flake whole or should you rub it out? Is one way better than the other? So up front, I'm gonna say no, not one way is better. It's really comes down to preference, as there are pros and cons to both. So what are the pros to rubbing out your flake? Now, in case you're really new and you're not sure what I'm talking about rubbing out flake, uh, take your flake tobacco, which is usually like this. This one's kind of broken up, and this is a burley flake, by the way. So here you go. Sometimes they're going to be a bit more together and more square, but it's going to look up something like this. So you'll take this flake and in the palm of your hands, usually you'll rub it out, and so it's going to look more of a coarse cut, or it's going to look like kind of like a ribbony, just a broken flake. All right, so you're going to have smaller pieces. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, up front, it's going to be easier to fill your pipe. So if you think about just trying to shove a full piece of flake in there, compared to cutting it up or having it broken apart in filling your pipe, it's going to be easier. You're going to have a better filling experience, especially if you're not used to pipe smoking or you're fairly new to it. That's going to be a better experience in and of itself. You're going to have a better chance of keeping it lit and going more into your smoke without having to relight constantly. So that is a benefit in of itself. Another reason can be, and this kind of starts to slip into pros for keeping your flake in flake form, is if you want a quicker smoking experience. So, though I guess you could just smoke your pipe, and if you have to go, you can just leave it where it is. It still has tobacco in it and come back later. So that is an option. But let's say you don't want to do that, and you want to get done with your pipe smoking experience. Hey, I got 30 minutes or 25 minutes, 45, what have you, and I want to make sure I get done with my pipe. Well, you're going to smoke it faster if it's broken up, right? That's basic common sense, basic logic. So those are reasons to do so. And you who are newer to pipe smoking, I encourage you, and I would give you the advice to go ahead and break up, rub out your flake. Another actual just comes to mind right now. Another additional benefit is you can actually get your flake, your tobacco that you're smoking, in the exact size that you want it to. So if you really get down to it and rubbing it out, you can get into a really fine ribbon style of form. Now, not purely ribbon, because that's actually being cut with machinery usually, or special contraptions. But you can get it really fine or kind of just like a broken flake form. So you have options there. So newer pipe smokers, I encourage you to go ahead and try for a while breaking up your flakes. Practice lighting. Practice keeping your pipe lit practice your breathing method. Once you get that down, then you can expand and try other things, as those things will be easier to accomplish and focus on. All right, so keeping your flake full. Why would I want to do that? Well, one reason is it's just quick and easy. Is I take my flake out of my mason jar or out of my tin and fold it in half. That ain't really fold in half. It's broken up already, but you know what I'm talking about. And you can usually just shove it down in there. It's pretty quick, easy. You don't have any real prep work on that matter. As P&W Piper got to, or made the comment about, a lot of times you'll see that the flavors do pop. Now, I'm really, really familiar with Stonehenge flake, so that was easier for me to see the distinguishment. For so long, I have rubbed it out just out of habit. But keeping it in flake form and shoving it in the pipe and keeping it as is, I did notice that the flavors really did pop on the blend. Especially what popped was the Lakeland Essence, which I know some of you guys who've had Lakeland Essence, you can't stand Lakeland Essence. I actually enjoy it. And so for me, that really popped even more when I kept it in full form. So that's one reason you're going to have more of a flavorful pipe experience per se. Depending on the blend, it may not always be real noticeable, and depending on your experience, it may not be noticeable. But for some blends, and I'm going to go with Stonehenge Flake, and I've tried some others, the flavors did come alive more, if you will. Another reason, and this is one reason why I now even more so go to just keeping my flakes in flake form, is a longer smoking experience. So when I smoke a pipe, because of my job, because of working at my desk, I have the blessing of being able to smoke it pretty much as long as I want, unless an emergency comes up or, I'm a pastor, so unless I get a phone call and I gotta go. But usually that doesn't happen. And I can sit here and finish out my smoke, and I like not having to fill my pipe up so much. Makes sense. So keeping it in full flake form, um, I can just shove it into my pipe, and I'm gonna have a longer smoking experience. Of course, the drawbacks can be it's probably going to cost, or it's going to require more relights. So you take what you will with it, and you decide which way you want best, or which way gives you more benefits that you enjoy, and which way doesn't. So all in all, to boil it down, it really doesn't matter. You can go either way and enjoy it. And folks who've been smoking for decades, some will break up their flake and some don't. So just choose the way you want to. But for you who are new to pipe smoking, I probably would say it's best for you to go ahead and break up your flake and get used to filling your pipe correctly, get used to keeping it lit, and focus on your breath method. So if you have questions on that, feel free to leave them below. And I encourage you again to like and subscribe. And if you already have been smoking for quite a while, give your preference and why. That'll be helpful for those of us for those who are newer to the pipe smoking world. So, guys, hope you have a great week. Hopefully Friday, it's going to be a busy Friday. I can get out a review, but if not, I'll have something maybe the next day. But you guys take care, and we will talk to you soon.